Lex orandi, lex credendi.
Welcome to the exercises from Swapnam chapter 35. Ego erkomai, tina zoyen, ekozin, hai perison ekon. Ego erkomai, ego has come for emphasis, I come. The moment you have a hina clause, you have the verb in the subject. It's a purpose clause. Ego erkomai, I come in order that ekozin, subjunctive for plural, present, they may have zoyen, life. Accusative, they may have life, and accusing, high accusing perison, they may have in its fullness. Let us look at that perison for a moment. Perison in the vocabulary. Perison, to the full. So, how do we translate? Ego erkomai tina zoyen ekozin. Ekozin is for echo. I come in order that they may have life and they may have in full. They may have in full. Satnam in the key polishes it a little and says, I come in order that they may have life and have it in full. Second, echomen to theasterion. Echomen comes from echo, present indicative active first person plural. We have to theasterion. We have a altar, right? Who estien, who ekusin. Who ekusin, again from echo, third person plural. They do not they do not they do not have exousian authority. Now, who are they? Hoi alloi. Others do not have authority to eat. Authority. Exu estiain. Estiain is infinitive. Now, let us reformulate it. Ecomen tusiasterion. We have an altar. Next, where is the verb? Uk ekusin. They do not have exousian authority. Then we go to the infinitive. They do not have authority. Stien, to eat. But good to take x, u together there. You can start again. Ecomen to theasterion. We have an altar out of which x, who, out of which uk ecusin, they do not have exousian authority. They is boy. They do not have authority to eat. So finally, the full sentence is, we have an altar out of which the others, others do not have authority to eat. We have an altar out of which others do not have authority to eat. Number three, Hugar Nippontai, middle third person plural, present. Present because also the vowel is wo. Paskeiras, the hands out on there. Hotan, Hotan Arton Esti Olsin. Now you remember we have come across Hotan in Svetnam, chapter 28, page number 166. The rule is Hotan takes subjunctive when there is a question of a repeated or continued action in the present or the future. I repeat again. Hotan takes subjunctive when there is a question of a repeated or a continued action in the present or the future. And Hotan takes an indicative when the question is about a repeated action in the past. For the present and future repeated action, Hotan takes subjunctive. For the past repeated action, Hotan takes indicative. What do we have here? We have present subjunctive. So Hotan takes subjunctive for the present and future repeated action. So, Sugar, Littontai, Pasqueira Sauton. For Littontai, they do not wash Pasqueiras auton, their hands, potan, when, estiosin, estiosin, when eating bread, when eating bread. They do, or they do not wash their hands when eating bread or when they eat bread. Sorry, it is not a participle, so you cannot say eating when they eat bread. For they do not wash their hands when they eat bread. Number four. Caecalos legete emi gar. Caecalos legete. Kalos is like well, rightly, finely, beautifully. Um, Kalos, and you say well, or you say correctly, you say rightly. I am. Now, this sentence suddenly doesn't make very interesting kind of a sense, but I think when we read it in the context of washing of the feet, and they're asking about him, then it makes sense. You call me master, well I am. So and well and rightly you say I am. That's the translation. Number five, Hotios auton, their god, Hekoilia, the belly or stomach. There is an ellipsis here. Their god is the stomach. Number six, for Christos en humin. En humin we can say in you or among you. Christ esteem is among you. The Proplutos tes doxes. Proplutos tes doxes. Proplutos we saw already. The wealth. You see there. Proplutos wealth. Number five. Number six. Christ among you is the wealth of the glory of the mystery among the nations or among the Gentiles, among Gentiles. Christ among you is the wealth of the glory of the mystery among the Gentiles, and toys among the Gentiles. Number seven, Hotios, ukemi hosper poiloipoi pon anthropon. O God, ukemi, I am not, hosper like, poiloipoi like the rest of the men. O God, I am not like the rest of the men. This is a sentence. Number eight, Poargurionsu, your silver, eye, we have an optative here. Interesting. Eye sunfoi, eistanaton, ton arguri, ton argurionsu, your silver, eye, me, sunfoi, with you, eistanaton, to death. It's basically saying, your silver may, they are not given the verb go, perkomai, or erketai, the silver may, with you, to death. Or, if I can polish it, your silver may go with you to death. Or simple maybe, may be with you. That also we can say because AA is coming from Yemi. Your silver may be with you to death. Number nine. Ton neanian tuton age poston kiliarkon. Kiliarkon is an officer or a military officer. Age comes from ago, but age is an imperative, present imperative actually. Lead ton neanian tuton. This young man. Lead this young man. It is an accusative. Lead this young man to the officer. Lead this young man to the officer. Number 10. Kai eipen ho neotero auton to patri. Kai eipen ho neotero auton to patri. Teros, tera, do you remember? This comes in the comparative. Then it comes in the comparative. He said, who is that he? Neoteros, the younger of them, auton of them, or their younger of them. Now, because there's an article, Neoteros, that is almost acts like an adjective. He said, who? The younger of them said to the father. The younger of them said to the father. Number 11. Tai hegon ton Iesun, esto sunedrion auton. Now, hegon comes from ago, imperfect, indicative, active, third person plural. Now, they were leading. It is not they led. They led becomes aorist. They were leading from Iesun, Jesus, esto sunedrion to the Sanhedrin, auton to their Sanhedrin. And they were leading Jesus to their Sanhedrin. Well, Tade Himatia autu en Leuka. Ta goes with Himatia autu. Now his garment was Leuka or Leuka. Leuka, white. Now his garment was white. Here we have a very interesting sentence. Blepsa allo semeion ento uranu. Now, semeion goes with mega, great sign. Angelus ekontas tas eskatas plagas. Tas eskatas plagas, the last plague. Ekontas is a participle, accusative plural, having. Angelus is angel. Semeion mega is a great sign. Ento urano in heaven, or in heaven goes better. Epilepsa is of Allah other. But the sentence is interesting. How do we translate it? I epilepsa. I saw. It is in aorist. Main verb is in the past. Aorist. Allo semeion mega. Another great sign. I saw another great sign in heaven. Okay, we have the first part here. Comma. Angelos ekontas tas eskatas plagas. What is interesting here is the translation of ekontas, participle. Now, I have told you before, while translating participles as well as while translating infinitives, their time is relative that corresponds to the main verb. Now, the main verb is eblipsa in this sentence, that is in aorist, that is means it is a past time. So, according to that, we will have to translate the participle ekontas. Now, how can we translate ekontas? Angelus, angels, ekontas, having last plague. And I saw another sign in heaven, angels having the last plague. Not exactly, because when I say translate having, the concept when I say having, it gives more of an effect of a present. Now, if the main verb is in the past, the context needs to get the impact or a nuance of a past time. Now, while translating participles, we got to be careful. If a participle comes with along with an article, then we substantivize it. But there is another way. For example, we want to get the nuance of a past time here to a concept. There is another way of translating it. We translated it like a relative clause. How can we do that? For examples, angels having this the present indication. Now, since epilepsy is in past, in the sense of aorist, part in the past time, angels who had. So I will bring in the relative clause to get that nuance. Angels who had last plagues, because we are speaking about the past time. I saw because it has happened in the past in a very particular time. I saw another sign in heaven, another great sign in heaven. Angels, the compass, I translate it here as who had. Angels who had, it is more of, I'm translating more like a relative clause. Angels who had the last plagues. I repeat, I saw another great sign in heaven. Angels who had because the past effect of epilepsy, who had the last plagues. I shall give you this PowerPoint. Please go through the details I have mentioned here. In video itself, it may not be very clear, but you should be able to read and get the idea. I have explained things there. Okay, number 15. Prothriton, zoon, ak, prosopon, prosanthropon. Now, generally, we know Hoth makes a comparison between two nouns. We have prosopon in accusative, anthropo in genitive. Just let us translate this one. Prothriton, zoon, ak, zoon, we have seen in the vocabulary. Zoon. You see the second one, the zoon, animal. So three थे. So three ton, neuter. The third animal, AK, imperfect of echo. The third animal had the face posanthropo. This is interesting to translate. They are not comparing between the face and the anthropo here. Although pos sometimes has that nuance of comparing between two nouns or adjectives. Here that is not the case. It doesn't compare two nouns here. Normally, host introduces a comparison and is often followed by whatever case fits the thing being compared. Frequently, nominative matching the subject or accusative matching the object. But here we have posanthropo, genitive. And that is because the comparison isn't the face was like a man. No, as a loose smile matching prosopon, but rather the face like that of a man. Face like of a man or face like that of a man. So implied prosopon governs anthropo. Yeah. Read it again, this explanation. This is important. This is a grammatical nuance because it does make a difference in meaning. So it is not saying like, sorry, it is not saying the face was like a man, face was like that of a man. There is a slight difference between the two. The genitive anthropo is doing what a genitive of possession or a relationship normally does. A man's face of a man, and Post simply introduces this whole possessive phrase as a comparison rather than forcing case agreement of with prosopon. Now, why do we have anthropo and why not anthropon? If the author had written prosanthropon, the sense would shift more to a direct equation, a face as a man or as if it were a man, treating man as if standing in opposition or agreement with the thing compared. That's grammatically possible in Greek generally, but it's not what's happening here. The sense intended is specifically a face of a kind belonging to a man. That is a human type or a human kind of a face, which is genitival, descriptive relationship, not a direct equative one. This is a known Semitic influence pattern in Revelation. So remaining explanation, I leave you to read. So how can we translate? So that Fox is not really comparing, but you get the genitive effect when we say as of a man. The third beast or third animal had the face that of a man. That of a man. The last one. Pode perison tuton ectu poneru estin. To perison. We have a what to say article with the article that is coming accompanying the adjective perison. The excess perison, the excess. But the excess, this can also be translated as what is excess or whatever is more, whatever is excess. This is a standard way to turn any adjective into an abstract meaning. Phrase by adding the neuter article. We have a neuter article here. Teuton. Teuton is a we have seen other day. We saw it with I think we saw it with Malbon. We saw it another. Uh, we saw genitive plural acting or genitive acting like a comparative. So Teuton has that effect. Perison carries inherent comparative force because it speaks about excess, more. And comparative words in Greek regularly take the genitive of comparison. What they exceed, much like a comparative adjective, a. So, periston, pluton is like what is more than these things. Pluton than these things. Because pluton you have to bring in, because see, the first part says more. And pluton has a pluton, genitive plural, has a comparative effect. So you bring in the more than pluton here because ton is neuter. So pluton is also, you treat it like a neuter. The form is same for all three. So what is more than these things is out of Honeru, out of evil. Once again, there is another rule playing here. The neuter plural subject is taking singular verb. Verb in the singular, neuter plural subject. So pluton, you have to see it more like a comparison, more than these things because it's neuter. So let's translate. Now, what is more than these things, pluton, than these things, is esteemed out of evil, out of evil. Good. The exercises in this chapter do make us call us to think a little bit, understand the sentence and understand a few nuances. I would suggest watch this video at least 3 times just to get those grammatical nuances. Some of them are a little tricky. At least 2 to 3 sentences are a little tricky. So take time. Also go through the note passing. Thank you. Happy learning.
Lex orandi, lex credendi, initium sapientiae timor Domini, verbum vitae lux in tenebris, in principio erat verbum,